Saturday afternoon in Australia, around 3 p.m. Family BBQ in the backyard. Your cousin's holding a $3 can of Great Northern in one hand, scrolling through petrol prices on his phone with the other, and he's muttering, "Mate, it costs more than $80 to fill the tank these days. How are people supposed to live like this?" Just then, a deep engine rumble comes from the driveway. Your other cousin has just been promoted to director. He's earning $180,000 a year. He slowly pulls up in a brand new white Land Cruiser, takes off his sunglasses, and walks over with a smile. But what you don't know is this. 5 minutes earlier, he was standing in a servo bathroom near the motorway, staring at his phone and pulling another $2,000 from his credit card limit just to cover next week's mortgage repayment. Why is it that in Australia, no matter how much people earn, everyone still says they're broke? Today, we're opening up the real books of Australia's 7 income classes, and you'll discover something a little uncomfortable. The thing destroying your finances isn't inflation. It's the lifestyle inflation that grows right alongside your paycheck, and by the end, you'll probably figure out exactly which level you're stuck in. Let's start at level 1. Minimum wage is now $24.95 an hour. Work full-time, and after tax, you're taking home roughly $1,600 every fortnight. Monday morning, 7 a.m., you're riding a bike with a slightly bent front wheel to work because the bus takes forever, and an Uber feels like a luxury. Lunch is leftover fried rice from last night, packed in an old supermarket container and sitting in the office fridge. After work, you stop by Coles. You open the app and hunt for anything with a yellow, reduced to clear sticker. Chicken drumsticks, pork chops. Saving $3 is still saving $3. Friday night, your friends invite you out for dinner. You check the menu beforehand to make sure it's under $25 a head. When the bill comes, everyone splits it evenly. Under the table, you quietly open your banking app, check your balance, then casually tap your card like nothing happened. At this stage, you're genuinely struggling, but you're not failing. The reality is, Australia's financial entry bar is just that high. But here's something most people never understand. I've asked dozens of Australians about this, and almost every one of them said the same thing. When I get a pay rise, that's when I'll finally start saving. Then they got the pay rise, and almost none of them did. Not because they're lazy, not because prices went up too fast, because there's a switch inside human nature. The moment income rises, it flips on, and the more you earn, the harder it is to switch off. Let's talk about your mate Dave. Dave earns around $1,877 after tax every fortnight, about $200 more than the last level. This is roughly Australia's median full-time income. A lot of people spend their entire lives here. Dave works at the same company as you. Back when he earned less, he brought lunch from home every day and heated it up in the office microwave. The day he landed a $60,000 salary, he posted online, "New chapter, time to start saving." 3 months later, he moved out of a share house and rented a 1-bedroom apartment closer to work. $450 a week. His reasoning? The housemates were too noisy. I needed better sleep. He stopped shopping at Aldi and started going to Woolies. Every now and then, he grabs a nice steak from the market on the weekend. Treating myself. Friday after work, someone suggests the pub. Instead of saying, "Too expensive," he's now the first one standing up. 2 rounds later, $65 is gone. At the end of the month, his bank balance is actually lower than before the pay rise. Even he can't explain where the money went. Do you know someone like Dave? The moment they earn more, their lifestyle upgrades immediately. Think about that. Because once you move into Australia's top 30%, the real money traps begin. You're now taking home around $2,446 every fortnight, higher than roughly 70% of Australian taxpayers. Your university friend Sarah works in HR. She just landed an $80,000 offer. The first thing she does isn't transfer money into savings. It's opening a car dealership website. 2 months later, she arrives at a gathering in a brand new RAV4. And when she parks, she makes sure everyone can see it. She's on a novated lease. About $1,100 comes out of her pre-tax salary every month, and she tells you, "It's okay, I'm saving tax." Her wardrobe now includes a couple of Lululemon leggings, $180 each. Instead of running in the park, she joins a gym for $120 a month. Weekend coffee at home becomes brunch in a trendy cafe, bottomless drinks, Instagram photos. Then one day, Sarah sighs and says, "Everything's so expensive now. Honestly, 80 grand isn't enough anymore. I don't even know where my money goes." The problem isn't inflation. The problem is that she's created a new baseline. In her mind, someone earning $80,000 should live like this. Her income went up 20 grand. Her wish list went up 40. So if $80,000 buys a new car, surely joining the six-figure club means financial freedom, right? Not even close. At $100,000 a year, you're taking home around $2,884 a fortnight, less if you're still repaying HECS. Your cousin Jason works in IT. He just cracked six figures. For the first time in his life, he feels like he's made it. The first thing he does? Spends 5 grand on a purebred Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. Its name is Biscuit. Dog food, insurance, grooming, another few $100s every month. Then annual leave arrives. He jumps onto Booking.com and books a private pool villa in Bali, 5 nights. Because, as he says, Queensland feels too close. I want a real holiday. Back in Sydney, though, his six-figure income still doesn't go very far. HECS repayments, rent or mortgage, everyday expenses. One weekend, he walks into Harris Farm, grabs imported cheese and half a dozen oysters. The bill comes to $140. He stares at the receipt, silent for 2 seconds, then taps his card anyway. Jason has become a luxury poor person. Top 17% income, less than 3 grand in savings. And Sydney's median house price is now well over $1.2 million. Without help from family, the deposit alone could take more than a decade to save. Now let's enter Australia's top 10%. Take-home pay, roughly $3,839 a fortnight. You're invited to a VP's house in Mossman. Beautiful home, harbor views from the backyard. Nobody talks about supermarket specials. Nobody complains about fuel prices. The conversations are different. Japan next month or skiing in Europe? Shore or Scots for the kids? Is that new Omega worth it? You stand there with a glass of wine, and suddenly you start thinking, my kids go to a public school. Everyone else's kids are in private schools. 2 months later, your child is enrolled in one too. Not because public schools are bad, but because in this circle, public school feels like something you have to explain. You've out-earned 90% of Australians, yet the only people you compare yourself to are the 10% above you. The more you earn, the more expensive your definition of normal becomes. And this is where financial anxiety often peaks. Now let's go back to the cousin from the beginning. Take-home pay, around $4,941 every fortnight. He's got a family home on the North Shore, a $1.5 million mortgage, repayments of nearly $7,800 a month. He also owns an investment apartment in Mossman. Rent brings in $2,800 a month, but interest, strata, and maintenance cost $4,200. He's losing $1,400 every month. Negative gearing softens the blow at tax time, but the cash still leaves his account. 2 kids in private school, around $65,000 a year once you include extracurricular activities. 2 cars, the Land Cruiser and his wife's Mercedes GLC. Combined car repayments, $2,600 a month. On a salary of $180,000, he takes home about $9,800 a month. Yet mortgage repayments, investment property losses, school fees, and car loans add up to more than $13,000 every month. That's right, he is losing money every single month, which is why he was standing in that servo bathroom, borrowing another $2,000 from his credit card. Income isn't the problem. The promises he made to maintain his image are. If he stopped working for 1 month, the whole empire would start falling apart. And what about the top 1%? The people at the very top? For every extra dollar they earn, nearly half goes to tax. So the smartest among them stopped playing the lifestyle game long ago. Their house isn't necessarily the biggest, their car isn't necessarily the newest, but their money works for them. ASX index funds pay distributions. Commercial properties collect rent. Company shares generate dividends. They don't need to be in the office every day, because even if they disappear for a month, cash still keeps flowing in. That's what financial freedom actually means. Not how much you earn, but how much money keeps arriving when you're not working. A high salary earned by selling your time can never fully outrun lifestyle inflation. And if you've watched this far, you've already made a choice. Maybe your income went from $60,000 to $100,000, maybe even $133,000. But instead of upgrading everything, you kept your lifestyle simple. You didn't move out just because you could. You didn't finance a new car to impress people. You didn't take on a massive mortgage to look successful. You earn like level 5, but live like level 2. And the difference? You invest it month after month. VASIVV, Australian shares, US shares. Letting time and compound growth do the heavy lifting, because the ultimate cheat code in this game is simple. Increase the gap between what you earn and what you spend. That gap is where financial freedom lives. Now think back to the last family BBQ or work gathering you attended. You definitely know someone who gets a pay rise and immediately upgrades their car, their house, or their entire lifestyle. What's the craziest status purchase you've seen? Tell me in the comments. And if this video made you look at your own finances a little differently, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.